Welcome to the last episode of 2025 for the Rocker Dog Podcast, the show that talks to musicians about their dogs. I'm your host, Tim Dill, along with my dog, Charlie, and today we bring you our chat with the indie family band Secret Monkey Weekend, a trio that consists of Jefferson Hart and his two stepdaughters, Ella and Lila, that was born out of tragedy and blossomed into a remarkable family story as documented in the 2023 PBS Emmy Award-winning short. And these are their big, fluffy rocker dogs.
Well, today we have our pups, Chester and Claudine. Chester is a roughly 2-year-old Pyrenees mix. We think he might have some kind of St. Bernard in him. And then Claudine over on the other couch is a more of a straight Pyrenees, but maybe just a mix of something else. They're siblings from the same litter. We've had them since October 2023, and they're the delight of our lives.
I love to hear that. Let's go back in time to October 2023. What instigated getting the dogs, and how did you go about doing that?
We lost our longtime hound, Maybelle, whom we've celebrated and sung on our first album. But I guess roughly a couple of months after she passed, there was a neighbor up the street that has a rescue Pyrenees named Molly, and we adore that dog. Just such a love bug and so large. And we thought, let's go for a big fluffy ball of love this time around. A hound dog was a little more in her own world. It was her world, and we just sort of adjusted to it. Nothing wrong with that, but we decided we would start with puppies for once. Mm-hmm. And we heard from the same friends who had Molly that there was a rescue shelter up in the mountains of North Carolina. We drove up to have a look, and we were basically just looking for a Pyrenees pup. And we saw 2 there. Well, we actually saw 5. It was a litter of 5. And it looks like we bonded with 2 of them right away. And it turned out to be Chester and Claudine. And I called home and said, Laura, can we get 2? And I gave her my reasons why, so they could have companionship and somebody who spoke their language. And she agreed. And we came home with these little bundles. They were about maybe 12 pounds each. And now they're pushing 80 pounds.
Oh my gosh. I did see pictures of them as puppies. Did they come with a name, or did you guys name them?
Well, the people at the shelter had given them names based off of Lord of the Rings. Chester, I believe, was Frodo, and Claudine was Rose Cotton. And there were several other puppies in the litter with Lord of the Rings names, like Pippin and stuff.
Okay.
The names were cute, but it just, not Lord of the Rings fans, so it didn't really stick.
Yeah. It's funny when you get a male and a female. Can you tell the difference? Like, is one more? I find that boys are more needy than females.
Oh, yeah. Chester is very much a little mama's boy. And Claudine is definitely the more dominant of the 2. She's still very loving and sweet, but Chester needs that extra love.
When you bring dogs in, there's a family dynamic. Was there any arguments over the names, or how did you come to the names?
For some reason, we had talked for a while about, even before we adopted them, that we wanted to name them after members of the band. The band. Yep. I think Chester was a contender even before we got them, and we didn't know what to do about Claudine, but then Lila kind of picked up the ball. And you want to explain how that came about?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know how many people are going to have heard of this, but growing up, I really loved this series and doll collection called Monster High.
Okay.
And there's one character, and she's like a werewolf girl, and her name was Claudine Wolf.
Yeah, Claw spelled CLAW.
Okay.
I love that character, and I just, I thought werewolf dog.
Yeah.
And,
it just reminded me about Chester. He actually did have another name in contention. We were going to call him the Hawk, like Ronnie Hawkins, who was, band leader of the band before they became the band. And then Crazy Chester from the song The Wait. So we kind of combined Chester and Hawkins. So his full name is Chester A. Hawkins. We don't know what A means, but it's a combination of the Hawk, Ronnie Hawkins, and
Crazy Chester.
Crazy Chester. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Have you mentioned yet Maybelle too? Or...
I did.
Yeah, we like doing the musical names in our
Yeah,
family.
yeah.
And
So like Maybelle Carter for the first dog.
yeah,
Okay.
my cat, another band reference. I know this is not a cat show, but I will bring her up. I named my cat Evangeline after the band song as
Yeah.
well. So
Okay.
yeah.
Do you guys still have cats as well?
Yeah, we have we did have three up until recently. We had one pass away last month.
Yes, last
Yeah.
time.
It's interesting about the cats because, I volunteer at a shelter, and a lot of times when you walk the dogs, you want to take notes. How are they with other dogs? How do they react to cats? How do Chester and Claudine measure up on that aspect? Are they cat friendly?
No, that's why the cats live with me.
Okay.
They're not really violent towards the cats,
Yeah.
but they're a little like, what are you?
Yeah, they tried
Yeah.
to like chase Mimi, one of our cats,
Yeah.
and Mimi did not stand for it.
Mimi does not like games, and
Yeah.
I think actually the dogs would be fun with the cats. It's just the cats go, we're happy where we are. You stay there, we'll stay here. The cats are way older and set in their ways, and these are
Mhm.
just boisterous
Little puppies.
Yeah,
Yeah, our cat Mimi, she's
14.
she's nearly 15.
yeah,
Oh, wow.
She's a
Yeah.
little too old.
yeah,
A lot of puppy energy for an old cat.
yeah.
Yeah.
Now, what about the breed? The breed, very watchful and almost nocturnal. Like they do like to stay up and keep watch. Do you find that? Is that a trait you see?
Yeah. I have to say so Great Pyrenees, they're bred to be watchdogs, as you said. So anytime I think there's any animal within 500 feet of our house, they're gonna bark and let us know.
Yeah, it could be an owl, it could be a chipmunk, anything that seems to be a threat to our border, they're ready to defend.
Yeah.
Do you guys ever have a night of peace from midnight to 6 a.m.?
Oh gosh, I was up late reading last night, so I would say from about 4:30 to 8 a.m. I was good. But I think 8 is when they are fed, usually.
Yeah.
Lila feeds them, and we have, a different person who takes care of different meals, but I do the midnight feeding. It's almost like we almost always have a baby in the house. That's kind of how it is in our house. That's why we divide it up into shifts.
Yeah.
Okay.
I feel like a grandparent in that I enjoy them rather than, so I'm not, because I don't live here, so I'm not on the ground when they're up at 4 a.m. But I get to come over and pet them, cuddle them.
Ella does like to walk them.
Yeah.
I'm not much of a walker, but Ella seems to enjoy that, and she often pairs off with my wife Laura to give them walks when it's cooler in the evening.
I'm the resident dog nurse and groomer.
Yeah.
I brushes their teeth like once a week.
Yeah, I've never
That's
had a
good.
dog that really enjoyed the teeth brushing. Maybelle maybe had it 6 times in her life or something.
She did not tolerate
Did not like it, but these buddies, since we got them started early, Lila takes care of the brushing, and it's just so amusing to watch them because they tend to like that toothpaste.
Who gets stuck with the chore of picking up after the dogs in the yard?
That's me.
Oh, Dad.
Once in a while, I'll make a deal with them. Say, I don't feel like it today. I'll take you out for ice cream later today if you'll do it. And sometimes they take me up in the offer, sometimes not. But yeah, that's my job.
It's very transactional.
Yeah.
And Ella, since you've got the walking duties, is there ever a dog park involved?
There's not really one near our house, but we do try to get them socialized. I want to say like maybe at least 60% of our neighbors have dogs.
Yeah, so they've gotten to
Mhm.
know each other. They
Yeah.
sniff, and they enjoy meeting people, and they truly give them a big welcome when people come to our house. Once they get past the den door, everything calms down. But when they're in the music room trying to get into this room, they'll let them know that there are dogs in the house.
Are they trained? Have they done any formal training?
I've done the training. We do things like sit, lie down. Laura came up with a little song that tends to calm them down. Do you want to sing it? Do you want
Yes.
to play the quiet game? I want you to win that game. Which is a hilarious song. I think we should probably put it as a fade out on one of our songs, but
Yeah.
yeah, the quiet game, and they just tend to respond to that.
One question before I go into the music aspect of the dogs, kind of the history of dogs. Was Mabel the girls, was that your only dog growing up?
When I was a child, we had two dogs. So there was Jackson. He was like some kind of lab mutt kind of
Okay.
mix, and he wasn't technically my parents' dog. Their friend moved to Thailand, so they were taking
Okay.
a little bit.
Okay.
And Jackson, very sweet dog, but he had seizures, poor thing.
I think
Oh,
you failed to mention that they were fosters, that they were fostering dogs.
Yeah, and then we fostered a dog named Penny, who she was a chocolate lab.
Yeah.
But we had her when Lila was probably like 6 months old.
Yeah.
So
okay.
she was just too
Yeah.
wild to have in the house with a baby.
So Ella and Lila's dad passed away when Lila was 4 and Ella was 9. And then I married their mom like 3 years later. I was Ella's guitar teacher, and their dad was in my band. So I was close to the family and, fell in love with the kids, fell in love with Laura. We became a family. So our first dog as a family was Maybelle.
Okay. And Jefferson, how about you as a child growing up? Were you around dogs?
I think we only had one dog. No, one dog when we were growing up. Unfortunately, this is back in the days when people didn't really, well, let's just say that back in those days, dogs ran free. And sadly, that pup in our suburb was hit by a car.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And, I was about 5. It broke my heart. So I didn't have another dog until I was 21. And it was a sweet pup, but unfortunately, it developed parvo as a
Oh
young.
boy.
So I had some heartbreak with dogs. So I really didn't get a dog of my own until I was about 40.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you mentioned getting, these two as puppies. How was the puppy stage for everybody?
Oh my God, they were just so cute. At first, I was a little skeptical because I was like, oh, I don't know about puppies. We've never done this before, like, I don't know. But the second I came home and saw them, I was in love. And I was like, yes, they are so cute. I love them forever.
Yeah. It was a good decision, I
Yeah.
think. And Laura, we've talked so many times about how we can't imagine life without them. And, they've got a good home and they're pretty much spoiled, as you can see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm pleasantly surprised to hear that a song was made of a dog, and you mentioned Mabel.
Mhm.
Have the dogs influenced your music in any other way?
I've started one about Chester. It's not completed, but yeah, they inspire us. I mean, I have to say, just the fact that we get along so well as a family and me as the stepdad, and I don't really have a whole lot of angsty songs to write. They're pretty much about the fun we have as a family and the dogs and the animals. And clearly we write silly songs like Do the Secret Monkey, which is a dance song. We wrote songs about our cats that were on the most recent album, and we write about different things, but I have to say, their time is coming. I mean, there's
Yeah.
no way their name will escape from being in a song.
Yeah. These babies, just like they help me get through all that teenage angst. I've been through a breakup or two since we got them, and they just can tell, and they're so sweet and loving. Sometimes I've been crying, and Chester will come up to me and he'll sniff my face, and his little whiskers will tickle my face. And I just, I can't be sad when I have two puppies who love me.
Yeah, they're very empathetic animals.
Yeah, I mean that's very sweet, and I've always looked to dogs to be like just these magnificent silent companions. They tend to know what you're going through, and they really don't need to speak words to heal you, but their
Yeah.
presence and their energy, does so much.
I always call Chester the son I never had because it is the first male animal I've ever had as an adult. And I think he appreciates that. And he gives me little looks. And sometimes I call him my silent partner, except when he's outside. He will definitely bark at anything that moves. But
Well, we've spent all this time talking about the dogs. What would the dogs say about you guys individually?
I think they observe that I like to nap a lot, since I'm the oldest member of the family. I enjoy my naps, and only in like recent months have we allowed them to jump on the bed, and they'll join us.
I kind of wonder if the dogs think of me as kind of mysterious because, my room is one room in the house where the dogs aren't allowed to go because I kind of consider it my safe haven from all the fur, and so they can't chew on all of my stuff. So I kind of wonder if they're like, what is that room that Lila goes into?
Well, if you make a mistake and leave the door open, I suspect they'll be on your bed.
Yep.
Yeah. No, I always joke because even though I am here the least often out of the family, they are still beside themselves when I come over and they're like so excited to see me. So I wonder if they think we joke, me and my mom, that they think I'm the hunter of the family and that I hunt the kibble for them or
Oh,
get back to them. And that maybe
uh,
they like me.
that's a stretch.
You don't like my theory.
Yeah.
Have they had any misadventures? Is there a go-to story you tell about either one of them?
We did one time. We had some people taking out like some like an old mattress or something, like a junk company,
Yeah.
and they had gone into our backyard and they had accidentally left the gate open, and these two got out.
Yeah, they went maybe a half a mile away, but we have air tags on them, so we were able to trace them.
Yeah.
But it was scary because there's a fairly busy highway where people just, go faster than the speed limit, and it's only about a block and a half away. So yeah, that was pretty scary. But the good news is we kind of split up, and Lila went to a certain area. And while I was calling their names, they came running right up to Lila.
But yeah, I was so afraid that, that we'd lost them, and I was crying and calling out for them. And they ran out of this little patch of woods, just running at me, smiling. I was just like, you have no idea how much trouble you caused.
Yeah.
I was going to say, I can imagine their faces like not a care in the world and be like, hey, Lila.
They were happy to come home, so thank God.
Good to see a positive resolution of that drama.
Yeah.
Well, I wind up the show with what I call the Zoomies, and that's just 5 fast, frivolous questions.
Mhm.
The first, I'm curious to hear your individual answers. Do you allow the dogs to lick your face?
It's not as much allow as it will.
Just happens.
It just happens.
Yeah, I have a beard, and I sort of let them. I think they figure there's some kind of food residue in here. But yeah, the answer is yes.
Yeah.
It depends on my mood.
Yeah.
Generally no, but maybe.
Okay, good. I'm glad there was a difference of opinion.
Yeah.
All right, question 2. Do any of these dogs have a theme song?
It's funny. I have actually changed the lyrics to a song. It goes, "Oh, Mr. Chester, bring me a dream. Make him the cutest that I've ever seen." So that's Chester. Claudine, I think what is it? The Jolene
Yeah,
song?
we've done Claudine, 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 Claudine.
Yeah, that's it.
The only thing she's stealing is like a toy or a sock or something. Nobody's man.
I think
Yeah.
I made the lyric for her. I'm begging of you, please don't take my hand.
Your hand?
Your ham. Yeah.
Okay, great.
I love it. Question 3 to set it up. Have they been to a gig?
They haven't. Unfortunately, we haven't had any gigs where we could
Yeah.
bring the pups.
We'd have to have a handler, I think,
Yeah.
because Laura tends to handle the merch for us.
Mhm.
But I love it. When we go out of town, we have Laura's brother dog sit. If there was some way we could make it possible for them to travel with us, and if they would enjoy it, God, we'd love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Let's imagine they go on tour with you. In the old days, there was the tour rider. What would you include on the tour rider for the dogs? What would the dogs want on the tour rider?
Socks.
Sock.
Oh,
That's
To-
their
to-
favorite thing.
Just to chew.
I think they identify the socks with who scent is on it.
Okay.
And
oh,
yeah, I mean our house looks like a sock truck turned over, and there are socks every few feet.
yeah. Our house is where the second socks go to disappear.
Yeah.
Tennis balls, chew sticks. I kind of thought they were done with that chewing stage, but Claudine begs to differ.
Yeah.
Old habits are hard to break.
Yeah.
Okay. Question 4 is, do you have a dog voice?
Yes.
Yes.
We do.
I think they're kind of the same for both of them.
It's
but
pretty dopey, but I think like Chester's is a little more innocent in a way. He's like, "Hi, I'm Chester,"
yeah.
and Claudine's a little more like a little lower. She's
Yeah.
like, "Hi, I'm Claudine."
Chester thinks he's a human. Claudine knows very well she's a dog. So
Yeah. Okay, question 5. I always ask if there's a dog service or an organization that you guys would like to give a shout out to.
yeah, well, the place that we rescued and adopted them from, it's Friends of Stokes County shelter, mountain region of North Carolina.
All right. I'll get a little bit more information and links and put that in the show notes for people in the area to know about.
Great. They're good people.
Well, Jefferson, Ella, Lila, thanks so much for introducing me to your dogs, Chester and Claudine. It's been a pleasure learning all about them and actually seeing them. And I was shared some puppy pictures of them. So it's been a pleasure getting to know them all.
Well, thank you. This was a real pleasure and an honor. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Carl, you're a damn good dog.